Hello and welcome to the Spargur Yarn Crafts channel. My name is WSpargur. I am your host. Today is Monday. I don't know what the date is. I also don't know what number podcast that is because I was just ready to go for filming this morning and I didn't really look anything up. Anyway, today is, I'm filming this on Monday. I'm filming this in the morning because Las Vegas is in the middle of a ridiculous heat wave, and so the later I film it, the hotter it gets, and I'm a little bit behind on filming because all of my free time has been in the evening, and it's just way too hot. So I'm filming this in the morning, and everything's going to be a day behind, so you should actually be seeing this on Tuesday, if everything gets uploaded correctly. Anyway, if you are new, thank you so much for coming to the channel and checking out this little community we have here. And if you are returning, thank you so much for coming back. You can find all of my social medias in the video description box below, as well as links for things that I use in both the filming of my podcast and in my everyday crafting. And if you are new, we do this podcast in segments, so each day has a different thing. So today is going to be with works in progress. We have FOs, we have some sewing, we have some life updates this week, and occasionally we throw some other things in there as well. So thank you for coming, and let's just go right into the works in progress. I have some exciting things to show you. So let's start with the first one, which is one you haven't seen. And that object is Tangled. It is a hat that I am working on in this beautiful, beautiful yarn. Lots of color here. And the idea here is that it's actually an odd number of stitches. It's going to be kind of hard to see in the variegated yarns, but there's a spiral that's happening here because of the offset number of stitches, and it is worked in 2x2, so knit 2, purl 2, but because there are 105 stitches, it offsets every round, and it creates this really cool spiral effect as it goes up. I'm knitting this on, why is it only on one needle? US 8s, which is a 5mm. It's a 16-inch circular. Again, 105 stitches. This is worsted weight yarn. The ribbing is 3x2, so knit 3, purl 2, and then just knit 2, purl 2 around. Again, each row being offset. It repeats every 4 rows, and I am, I'd say it's about 5 to 6 inches in. And then I will start working on the brim. This isn't a pattern, I just kind of started doing this. I have no idea if somebody has done this before. I'm sure they have. And I'm gonna double check a few places because I thought about writing this down, but if somebody's already done it, there's no point in me doing it. But if somebody hasn't, or I can't find anything similar, then I will write it out as a pattern. It would be a free pattern because it's so simple. But I need to design the crown so that it kind of keeps its shape as it goes up. And that's going to take some time. But yeah, fun little hat. I'm really excited about this. This little thing, it's actually it's 3D printed. It's a sheep, and it's a skein minder or something like that. Anyway, you just wrap your tail around it so you don't have this tail going everywhere. And I think it's this cute little thing. I got it from Crafty Flutterbee, I believe. She makes a lot of shawl pins, but this is something that you got with a free purchase of, got for free with a purchase of a shawl pin at Stitches West. So I've been using that on this hat because I started off with a tail that was way too long. But that's okay. I have no idea what this yarn is. It was something that was gifted to me a couple of years ago, and I just finally got around to using it. I've used some of this in another wrap. It was a crochet wrap, I believe. So this is kind of what was left over, and I've got more than enough, so I don't actually know what I'll use the rest of it for yet. We'll see how tall the hat is when I'm done. The second one is an object you've seen before, but I've made some decent progress on it. And that is a huge mess right now. I figure out where to put the ball of yarn. Okay, so I am making steady progress on the Star Flanket by Stephen West. I have finished all of the parallelograms in the middle, and I am slowly working my way around the edge. Now the pattern, because it's adapted from a shawl, there are supposed to be alternating stockinette versus garter in this section here. And I decided not to do that because knitting is just faster for me. So instead of purling around some rows, I just decided to knit. Everything's going to be in stockinette. But I'm using a lot of really pretty variegated yarns. And I thought, honestly, that it would just look better in stockinette. You'd be able to see more of the yarn. I don't know, there's something about stockinette with variegated yarns that I really prefer stockinette. So I am slowly increasing my way around. And the thing that's kind of annoying right now about this is because of the shape of the pattern, it's really hard to get around the circular. It doesn't flow quite as easily. And that's a little bit of a struggle. However, the wider it gets, the easier it gets. So I'm not too concerned with that. I'm on row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in this color. So each color is 6 rounds. So I'm about to finish with this, which is 3 Irish Girls. I don't remember the colorway name. But 3 Irish Girls. It's a very bright yarn. I really like it. And so I'm using that. And then the one that I'm going to use after that is going to be... Jeez, these are all messed up in the bag. This is Titmouse from Knit Crate, so that's going to be the one I alternate with it. And this is a really pretty yarn too. This is Merino Cashmere Silk. So I'm really excited to use that, and it'll alternate with this one. I think that'll be a nice contrast. And then when I get to the brioche, I'll use 2 different ones on that. So I've got plenty of different yarns and yarn colors here to use. They keep coming unwound in this bag, so I'm probably gonna... I had it all set aside and put in the bag so that when I'm ready to move to the next color, it's just in here, but they keep getting tangled and unwound. So I think I'm gonna take them all out. This is being knit on US 5s, which is a 3.75 millimeter, and I believe it's on a 32... No, I'm on the longest cable. So I think I'm on a 60-inch circular now, which is also part of the reason that it's having trouble getting all the way around, is because the stitches are still kind of spread out. But it's working its way around. Very excited to be continuing working on that. Again, that's the Star Flanket by Stephen West. The pattern is written for DK weight, but I'm doing it in fingering weight. And I think I'm actually doing it on just 1 needle size lower than what he wrote it for, so the size will probably be comparable. But I don't know. I'm just trying to use I have so much fingering weight yarn, I'm trying to use as much of it as I can, and I don't necessarily like holding it double. So, that's why I'm using just single fingering weights. I think it looks better too. So, next work in progress. And I have some of these to show in the finished object segment too. I have really gotten into amigurumi recently, and if you follow my Instagram, you'll have seen some of the things that I have recently made as amigurumi. And there's actually one of them right there. So this is actually just a bigger version. I could not find a bear in the size that I wanted. Most of the patterns were written for much smaller, like this guy's tiny. They were written for smaller items, and I tried asking, a few of the groups that I'm in, when you want to size it up, do you just double all of your stitch counts and row counts? And somebody was like, well, yeah, but it can get kind of wonky when you do that. I decided to give it a try anyway. And I found that when you double the stitch counts and the row counts, you don't end up with something twice the size. You end up with something 4 times the size. So I'm actually okay with that, and I wrote down everything that I did so that I could recreate it, but again, I couldn't find one this size that I liked. There were a lot of different shapes, and some that were more flat, or they just didn't have the quality that I wanted them to have. So this, I wrote it out, and I've just got to do the 2 arms and the 2 legs. It will sit. And I did use safety eyes and a safety nose. I bought a bunch of those, like 1,000 pieces or something like that. This is just leftover worsted weight yarn that's in my stash. So I actually didn't have enough purple to do everything, so that's why I'm going to do white for the ears, snout, and arms and legs. but I think he's really cute, and I am actually going to start selling these on my site because they really don't take very long to make. I think this guy, if I had sat down and done it in one day, I could probably make 2 of them in a day. So I am going to start, you know, just using up my stash to make more of these, and I've got different yarns. I have like Karen latte cakes and some things that have got like more fuzz on them to make them look a little furrier, and I'm going to make some out of that too. And yeah, and I'm going to make some of the smaller ones, some of the bigger ones, and I'm going to, I've got some rabbits that I want to make, or some bunnies. And I do have another amigurumi that I'm going to show in the finished objects. Unfortunately, I can't sell that amigurumi publicly. I can't sell that amigurumi, so I just made the one. But yeah, this is a lot of fun. I'm doing mine on 4.5mm hooks. I realized I don't have a 4mm hook, and I looked at purchasing one, and I kind of thought maybe I should just wait a little bit, because I want to get a Furls hook, but I'm going to wait until they've got another coupon code before I buy another one. So 4.5mm, I'm already a tight crocheter anyway, so that seems to be working out. So 4.5mm worsted weight. I think he's turned out gorgeous. The shape of the bottom here is a little weird. I might adjust that. I don't know, it kind of looks like a chess piece to me. But if you stuff it enough, it doesn't become a problem. And I think you can steam it to relax some of the sharper edges from the increases and decreases. So I'm going to try that with this one. But yeah, cute little bear. Well, cute little stuffed thing with no arms or legs. And the last work in progress I have, I'm still not done with this, guys. Okay, so I think the best way to show this, I'm not going to unfold it completely because it's huge. If you want to see more from this pattern, go back and watch some of the previous podcasts, and I believe there's some pictures of it on my Instagram. But I'm going to show you kind of where I am now. So this is Lost Garden by Helen Shrimpton. This purple bit at the bottom corner, that's the center. So I have worked center, and we have gone all the way to this outer edge. So there's a lot of work here. This already fits a queen, and I still have 10 rounds to go, I believe. So very, very large blanket. I'm using, the yarn ball says this is chunky. I think this is more of a like a heavy worsted, but I'm doing it on a 5.5mm hook. And again, there's just so much beauty in these patterns. But again, I still have 10 rows to go on this. And I have been working on it slowly but surely. The other thing is, every time I finish a round, and I haven't done it on this one yet, but every time I finish a round, I weave in these ends. And that's because I know if I didn't start doing that, I wouldn't end up weaving in the ends when this was all said and done. So that is a huge work in progress. Again, 5.5mm hook. I am ready to finish this one. I do really love the pattern, and what I really like about the end of this pattern is that as you get to the longer rows, the stitches and the stitch patterns are such that they're not tedious rows, so they do go rather quickly. I could probably do a round in about 45 minutes or so. So this really doesn't have much more to do. If I did a row every 10 days, or one row every day, I would have this done by the next podcast, and that's kind of the goal now that I've got a few of my design commissions out of the way. So this is kind of my next big, let's get this done, and then I've got other things that I want to finish. I also want to finish this bear and make sure I get that pattern written out so that at least for me, I have it so that I can continue to make more of them. So yeah. That's my huge work in progress. Hopefully next time you see it, it will be a finished object. So thank you so much for joining me for my works in progress. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you haven't, and then you can hit that bell for notifications every time I upload a video. Next time you will see me here on this channel, we're going to be doing the finished objects since the last time I filmed a podcast. So be sure to check in for that. And thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you again very soon here on the Spargur Yarn Crafts channel. Thanks. Bye.